Yo, what it be like, y'all? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast with my boy Vlad and Barry. What's good, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing well. Doing great. What's going on, guys? How's it going?
Yo. What's going on?
Yeah, we chilling, bro. How's everybody doing with everything, as far as like the coronavirus? I know we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, but it's still a constant thing in our life. So how y'all doing with that? How y'all dealing?
I think it's been like a month for me right now, being inside the house. Even though I've been going out, once in a while, a couple of times a week or whatever, but I feel as though I've been inside the house for way too long. I think this week it's starting to get to me a little bit, but we're chilling.
Yeah, same here with me. I've been, working my usual job during the week. When I'm not at work, I've been at home for the most part, with the exception of having to step out a few times during the week to take care of the essential necessities, as far as grocery shopping, laundry, etc., things that I need to get done in the house that I can't do in the house. But yeah, for the most part, I think I've just kind of been social distancing myself from everyone and just keeping myself safe as well as the others around me, and even when I'm at work, being careful and not being too close to any of my coworkers as well as other people that I interact with in the while I'm at work. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that I've been doing a good job of this week and kind of gotten used to.
Yeah, word. I'm still doing the same things, in the house, man. Ain't no else.
I feel you.
My dog, we go around the park. We ride the bikes. She's actually been riding her little Mercedes truck around. You'll see her riding around, either on a bike or on a little Mercedes truck. She got a way better car than that. That's either here or there. But staying the hell away from people, even while I'm on walks and stuff like that. It's like, all right, 6 feet, you know what I'm saying? Like, either way, I'm like, go this way, if you're coming in my way, I'm moving. We're not even like trying to wait for anybody to come up too close. But people are still friendly out there. They're still, waving.
Yeah.
People want to be close to other people, but fortunately, we can't do that right now. So it is what it is. I mean, I prefer to stay away from people anyway, but that's me. Not everybody else is like that.
Just make sure you keep wearing your mask and all at all times, so that you don't contact the virus from anybody else or put it on anybody else.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Just like like just walking around with this mask. It's like,
right, yeah.
You're not even close to anybody. It's still weird, like you're saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, man. This is a movie, and we're all living in it. Like, whatever you must do, stay the hell up inside.
How many movies do you think is gonna come out of this? COVID-19, coronavirus, like how many movies?
The virus.
2020.
The pandemic.
2020, the year of the virus.
Oh my God. Oh, God. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole biography, a whole, whatever the documentary on what the hell is going on.
But you know what though? After all, I'm healthy, you're healthy, Barry's healthy, so that's good.
I hope. Because apparently some of us might have it and not feel nothing. So
that's true, right?
It's Easter, so God bless me.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope I don't got it. Happy Easter to everybody too, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not able to go to church this year, oh well, man. That probably will save a few people's lives, especially those old ladies with with the big ass hats in the church. I never understood that. All the guys take your hat off, and then all the women got the big ass hats. I'm like, what? I don't know the way.
That's their swag, though. That's their swag. They look forward to that every Easter Sunday.
Yo,
we got the biggest hat. We got the better hat.
They've been shopping for that hat all year, bro.
Oh yeah, you already know that.
They sure have, absolutely. You know, that is pretty funny and stuff. But I was going to say the churches are closed on Easter and stuff. And I'm kind of surprised the parks are still open because I thought even like the parks would be closed too.
What do you mean by the parks?
Like the outdoor parks.
I mean, the outdoor parks, if you're just walking through it, I don't see a problem. But I think it's the places with like the playground. You know, the kids are touching everything. And, you know, that, you can't do it. My daughter was riding her bike. She's like, let's see if the park is open. It was closed. She's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
She's 5. So like, her reaction
to it.
Yeah, she hates it. You know, she's like, when's the coronavirus going away? But unfortunately, none of us know that. You know, not even the big scientists they pay for. You know?
Right. Not even them that make the big bucks. You know, trying to figure out this stuff and trying to figure out vaccines. They have no idea.
Yeah, they make it look so easy.
Right, exactly.
They make it look so easy on TV, right? But
yeah.
Real life, you know, Dr. House or whatever his name is, isn't gonna come over here and do a couple perks and figure out the freaking problem. And then you got Trump acting crazy. But it's not this kind of podcast, so it's
right. We'll leave it at that.
First of all, a couple of things happening this week, right? We got the NBA horse competition. You guys excited for that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We finally get to see some basketball on TV on live national television.
Yeah, we'll get to see. Well, not basketball.
Not basketball, the real basketball, but like at least some sort of basketball, right? Even though it's not competitive, like, you know, 5-on-5 full court game. At least it's something for the time being until this coronavirus stuff is over.
Yeah, we get to see some guys take some shots. You know, who you guys got? We got what's the bracket anyway? Okay. Who we got?
Well,
all in there.
Trey Young versus Chauncey Billups.
Yeah.
Tamika Catchings versus Mike Conley. Zach Levine versus Paul Pierce. Chris Paul versus Ali Quigley. Is that what the lineup is?
Yeah.
That's the lineup.
That's the lineup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Who do you guys got?
I'll go through the list and I'll take my pick. Well, first of all, I'm excited for this because this is the first sports like anything for like a month.
Yeah.
That's gonna be televised and there's gonna be a commentator. So
is there gonna be a commentator?
Yes, I forgot exactly what it is, but yes, there's gonna be a commentator.
What the hell is it? I don't even want to get into that, but
I'm really excited for this. At least there's gonna be something to watch on ESPN.
What time is it at? 7 to 9, right?
7 p.m. So it's at 7 p.m.
7 people. So if you're trying to watch it. I mean, it's probably useless because you're not gonna hear this until after it happened.
Yeah. But you know what though, we'll give you our thoughts and who we think is gonna win, and then at the next episode we'll see if we're right or wrong.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Right.
Let me give you guys my picks, and then you guys can go after that.
All right, go ahead. All right.
Trey Young versus Chauncey Billups. That's a really tough matchup. You know, Trey Young can hit almost any shot, and Chauncey was nice. Chauncey was really nice. So, but I'm gonna take the young gun on that one. I'm gonna take Trey. I've seen him hit the the mid range, the mid court shots, and he's been making them. So I'm gonna take Trey Young on that. Tamika Catchings versus Mike Conley Jr. I don't know.
Don't sleep on Tamika.
I think I'm gonna take Tamika on that one.
Okay, I think you might have done that.
I like it.
Zach Levine versus Paul Pierce. I'm a homie. I'm gonna take Paul Pierce.
You got to.
Yeah.
Chris Paul versus Ali Quigley. I'm gonna take Chris Paul.
Okay. So you got Chris Paul moving. You got Paul Pierce moving.
Yep.
That would be Chris Paul versus Paul Pierce. And then you got Tamika Catchings moving, and then Trey Young.
Yes. Yes.
So Tamika versus Trey Young. All right. Who you got?
Tamika versus Trey Young.
Yep.
Woo. Trey.
Yeah.
Trey. I'm gonna take Trey Young.
Pick Trey to move on. Okay. All right. So Paul Pierce versus Chris Paul.
I'm gonna take Paul Pierce.
Oh wow, you're really a homer. So you got you got Trey Young versus Paul Pierce, right?
Yep.
Well, is that the finals?
That's the final.
That's the finals.
Yeah.
Pierce and Trey in the finals. Okay.
Yep.
Who takes it? You're gonna stay home or what? Who you believe in?
I think Trey wins it all.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Trey is in my he's a starter on my fantasy team, so Paul Pierce is retired, so that I don't really have too much, of it's not pulling my heart like that. It's not pulling my heartstrings is what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
Barry, you're up, man. So you got Trey Young versus Chauncey Billups. Who you got?
I'll go Trey Young.
Trey Young.
With that one. Yeah.
You got Catchings versus Mike Conley. Who you got?
Ooh. I'll go with.
Don't sleep on Tamika Catchings, bro.
That's Hall of Famer, right? She was part of that 2020 class. I'll go Tamika Catchings.
Twice. First, Mike Conley.
With all due respect to Mike Conley, because I like Mike Conley.
Right.
But I'll definitely give Tamika the edge in that match.
Okay. Paul Pierce was Zach Levine.
I'll go with the truth.
The truth.
The
okay.
truth. Yeah.
I think everybody believes green around here. Chris Paul or Ali Quigley?
This is a tough one because yesterday I was watching Ali Quigley's videos that she posted on Twitter of her prepping for the horse competition, and she was making some pretty tough shots. And obviously,
don't sleep on Ali, Sam.
I'm about to go CP3. I can't go against CP3.
Okay.
I'm not. Even though Ali Quigley can ball, but
all right.
CP3 is different.
So you got Trey Young and Tamika in the semis. Who you got right there? Trey Young versus Tamika. Who's going forward?
It's gonna be a close one, but Trey Young.
Trey Young. Okay. All right. You got Chris Paul and Paul Pierce. Chris Paul versus Paul Pierce. Is that what you picked?
Yes.
Okay. So which one's moving?
CP.
Ooh, CP versus Trey Young. All right, and then the old
that's the finals right there.
Yeah, the changing of the guards.
Yeah,
you got right there.
Be a close one, but I give a slight edge to Trey Young.
Ooh, okay.
So very slight.
Young gun. All right, so you picked Trey Young too, right?
I picked Trey Young and Barry picked Trey Young.
All right, so word. All right. Hey, Trey Young, you got supporters over here. Okay. I love Trey Young. He's in my fantasy, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
So with him versus Chauncey Billups, I'm gonna actually go with Chauncey on this one. Big
What?
Shot Billups.
Mr. Big Shot?
Mr. Big Shot.
Wow.
Right? So,
really? To upset Trey on the first round, just like that.
First round, Trey got to go because he's new and he's probably nervous or something. And Billups is like, all right, I've been retired. Let me show these guys I can still ball. Big Shot, bow. Right?
You think he still got it, though? You still think, you know what I'm saying? He got something cooking and up his sleeve?
They don't call him a Big Shot for nothing, right? And then you got Tamika Catchings versus Mike Conley. I'm gonna go with Mike Conley, just because I like the quiet guys. So I like the quiet guys. That's gonna be it for me. Chauncey Billups and Mike Conley, and then the next guys, Jack Levine versus Paul Pierce. I'm gonna pick Paul Pierce. You don't even gotta ask why, because you know why.
Right. Say no more. No explanation.
We're in Boston. Just get that. Okay.
Exactly.
Chris Paul versus Adam Quigley. I'm gonna pick Chris Paul just because I haven't seen enough of Adam Quigley to actually determine what she's gonna do. Right.
Yeah. She might pull up the upset in that. But even though I picked Chris Paul, I wouldn't be surprised about her upsetting Chris Paul. I saw some of her stuff yesterday, and yeah, she can.
Right. I'll take
your word for it. Up her sleeve. So
I'll take your word for it.
Right. So we'll see what happens with that.
Right. We'll see what happens. So we got Big Shot Chauncey versus Mike Conley, and I'm gonna go with Big Shot Chauncey Billups just because I don't know, man. He's an underdog. He's always been an underdog, and when he went against the Lakers in the finals.
Yep. Yeah, the Lakers. That's right.
With Detroit. That was a feel-good team with Ben Wallace, a big boy,
Rasheed Wallace, Hamilton.
Those guys, I really love that team. So
I'm going to go squad right there. No doubt.
I'm going to go with Chauncey, Big Shot to beat Mike Conley to go into the finals. And then Paul Pierce versus Chris Paul. I'm going to pick Chris Paul just because, man, he's probably one of the top 10 point guards who's played the game. So I'm gonna go with that, and I don't know. I just like Chris to go into the finals against Big Shot Chauncey, and then
who you got in the finals?
I'm gonna give the chip to Chris Paul. I'm gonna give the chip to Chris Paul.
Ooh, over Mr. Big Shot. I thought that was your guy, though.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna.
That is my guy, but I feel
and win it all. Wow, I'm surprised he went against him in the finals. You think he's gonna run out of gas in the finals?
Nah, I just feel like Chris Paul. I don't know. He turned things around this year. What was the narrative about him? He was a little washed up.
Right.
He was talking about that on a podcast, All the Smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson.
Yeah, that's a great podcast.
It is. I like that podcast a lot.
I like to listen to podcasts, but I like how he's talking. I think he always has something to prove. I think he's had something to prove this year, especially because of how the Rockets did him.
I'm surprised at how well he's doing with OKC.
Yeah, me too, a little bit. Yeah, I'm surprised about that too, as far as the level that he's played at, and that he was an all-star this year, and that not only is he playing at the all-star level, but that team was actually winning games, and I think they were top 5 seed in the West before the season got suspended. So no, he was playing at a high level, especially at 35 years old. We thought this was going to be his decline period of his career, but he's definitely showed that he's got plenty left in the tank. So no, big shout out to Chris Paul. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, I actually wasn't too surprised.
Really?
No, because I feel like Chris, he's a really tough competitor, but at the same time he's a humble guy, and he's always been like a really fierce leader. Even when he was on the Rockets, it's like, bro, like I've been here, like. If you do it this way, it's gonna work. I don't know. I just always liked Chris Paul, his attitude. I mean, I think didn't Rondo punch him or something? I kind of like.
Yes, he did get into a fight with Rondo last year.
Rondo punched him in the face.
The Rockets played the Lakers.
Shout out to Rondo. I like Rondo. I like when Rondo punched him in So I didn't have to put that in there, but I don't know. I felt like I had to put that in there. So my pick is Chris Paul, and you guys pick Trey Young to take it all, right?
Yeah.
So
Chris Paul to go to the finals, and then Trey Young,
right,
he could beat him.
So we'll see what happens. You know, you'll probably hear this podcast. The results will be out long before this. You know, hopefully one of the three of us is, well, I guess two.
Probably one of the two.
One of the two. I have the one. I mean, hopefully. Well, actually, I hope my guy wins. Fuck y'all.
So the way it's gonna work is tonight is the quarterfinals. So tonight is the first part of it, and then Thursday is the semifinals and the finals.
Okay, so they're gonna stretch this out a little bit.
Right.
It's not like
not a bad idea.
Right. It's not like these guys have had enough time to rest up and stuff. They need a couple breaks, you know.
Right.
We shot too many horse shots. Let's wait until the next day to take our next shot. I guess they're gonna play the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
I
want to ask you guys who do you think is the sleeper?
The sleeper? I'm gonna go with Tamika Catchings.
I can see that.
Yeah.
For me, because I don't know much about Ali Quigley, I'm gonna say Ali Quigley.
Yeah, she's gonna like come out of nowhere and surprise you.
Yeah, surprise everybody. Because nobody, I mean, at least for me, I don't know much about her. So she's gonna come out and everybody's gonna be like, oh, we didn't expect that.
Oh, she's nice. So
where did she come from, you? I've never heard about it.
Like, does she even play professional basketball? Like, who is she?
The secretary play. You know, but shout out to the WNBA ladies taking a part in this event.
Yeah, for sure. Big shout outs
for the NBA to actually let them be a part of this. And you know, last month was National Women's Day, and I think it can only be a good thing for the WNBA because I feel like a lot of people miss sports, but we think about the men in sports, really, right? We want to see LeBron and Steph Curry do their thing, right?
Mm-hmm, for
we
sure.
want to see, you know, Blake Griffin dunk, whoever's dunking now, the kid that won Jones, right? That's what we want to see, but there's still women playing out here. There's still some really good women playing out here.
Yeah, really talented.
Shout out to them, man. They can definitely do their thing. Hopefully I can get a WNBA ticket somewhere. Do they even have no, they don't have a Boston team, right?
No, the closest team is Connecticut, the Connecticut Sun.
Connecticut Sun. They're with the WNBA now.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about it.
I know a little bit about WNBA, for sure. But I probably would say my sleeper is, I'd agree with that, is Ali Quigley. Because like I said, I've seen some of her highlights. So I think she can definitely surprise some people and be the one that comes out of nowhere and makes a run in this competition.
Right. Barry's that guy at the WNBA game with the binoculars. Let me look what you're doing over there. Yeah. So that's going on, the horse tournament and stuff like that. So good luck to those guys. The other thing NBA we got to talk about is Danny Green came out with some information that he's saying that the NBA should be back in mid-May, which we're not, not welcoming. We welcome that, but is that realistic? So I wanted to ask you guys, like, what do you guys think about that? Is that realistic?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think that's enough time for the NBA to bring back the season and for the players to be able to have enough time to prepare for the season when it does resume. I think that the earliest I can see it come back is early to mid-June. I think it'll be at least June till it comes back. I think early May or mid-May is too early because we're already, in mid-April or getting close to mid-April. So I think that they're going to need definitely more time to be able to prepare themselves and prepare their bodies and get themselves back in shape and back to playing again. Probably, I'd say around June is when I see it coming back. So I think May is too early, wouldn't be safe and wouldn't work out too well bringing those guys back at that time.
Right. Vlad, what do you think? You're the engineer, bro. You gotta tell us something, please.
Say that again.
You're the engineer. Please tell us what's going on. Are we about to die? Please.
Well, I think I don't know where Denny Green is getting his information. I don't know, and I'm not gonna take my advice on when the NBA is coming back from Denny Green. I just.
Isn't he part of like the Players Association or something?
I think so. Yeah. I think he has like a high position. I forget what position he has, but he's part of that group. Right.
Yeah, I just doubt it. It's almost impossible to, because if for it to be back, they don't even know where they would have the games. They don't even know if they can have fans, and they definitely can have fans as early as May. That's for sure. Even August, some people are saying it's too soon to have fans in the stadium. There's so much to figure out that it's impossible. And I remember I was listening to LeBron. I forgot who LeBron was talking to, and he was saying, in order to get back into playing shape, like, he's at home, he's working out, he's staying in shape to play. But in order to get back to like what playing shape is, he would need like a month of training, like, you know what I mean, which he's not gonna get because it's so time sensitive right now. But there's so much that goes into it. I don't see us coming back mid-May a possibility at all. The earliest I can see it is August.
Whoa, August. Woo.
Earliest I can see it.
Yeah.
The earliest the season's gonna start is in August.
That's when he sees it, and I guess that's his educated guess.
Wow.
But
That's shocking. That would be a really long layoff.
I don't know what to believe, because we're getting mixed messages from our leaders. We got the supreme leader of this country, well, who's the supposed leader of this country, telling us that he wants the country reopened back and by Easter, which is today, and walking around with a mask on. And listen, I don't know about you, but I don't foresee anytime soon that I'm going to be taking this mask off. So,
and to add insult to injuries, a couple of days ago we had the highest death total in the U.S., which was like 2,000 people or something.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, close to 2,000 people, right?
Exactly. So how could that even be possible?
Yeah. So we got the supreme leader giving us conflicting reports, and then you got his medical general, whatever the heck his name is, Dr. Fauci or something.
It starts with an F.
Yeah, it starts with an F. Dr. Fauci. He's this white dude, okay? He's talking about he hopes the country's back to normalcy around November. Okay? And man, I'm all for the NBA coming back because I really want to see some sports, but like not like in the way people are thinking. I know Danny Green is like he's probably part of the Players Association or something like that, for him to come out and like assert himself in that way, because I feel like they wouldn't allow a player to just come out and give out, assertive information like that. Like, he sounded like he knew exactly what he was talking about. I don't think the NBA would allow anybody to do that. Hopefully it does come back, and hopefully if they do come back, they're at a remote location where the games are being played in one place, and there's a cleaning crew at hand, and everybody's taken a test and has been cleared of anything COVID. Kind of like what's his name was trying to do, the owner of the UFC when they shut him down. Dana White?
Yeah.
He tried to like buy an island or something like that.
A private island, exactly, to have UFC fights.
Yeah, that boy
over there.
That boy is crazy.
Yeah, he is facts.
I'm gonna fly people out. I see the NBA can do that easily because they're a freaking giant, right?
Exactly.
So I can see how they can do that easily. If that's the way they want to bring it back, sure. But anything resembling, of normalcy, I don't think that's gonna happen until sometime next year, man. To be honest with you, like as a fan, I wouldn't be comfortable going into a place that big with that many people without like the medical community coming out and saying that, hey, everything is safe now. There's nothing in the air. There's nothing, that's in the meat, in the freaking lettuce, for God's sake. You can regularly walk in the supermarket without, fear and bumping into anybody's carriage and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Maybe.
I completely agree with you, John. I think even with my prediction with sports maybe being back in August, I don't think it's gonna be the normal sports that we've watched. It's not gonna be with fans, and it's not gonna be at their respective cities. I think if any sports is coming back, it's gonna be a shortened season, something that they've talked about, a new structure. It's gonna take a while to get back to normal. This is not simple. Not simple at all.
You heard the president. This is a really brilliant virus. It's intelligent. This dude, somebody take his mic, man, please.
I hear what you guys are saying, in that regard. It definitely makes sense. I can understand where you're coming from, but the only thing is if they do bring it back in like August. Like, is there a point to finishing the season? Because then you're delaying and pushing back your start of next season, right in the following season. So I feel like if it doesn't come back by, say, July, then there's probably no point in the season come back. They should probably just cancel the season and move on and get ready for next year and, have the draft and have free agency and let the team start prepping for the next upcoming season. That's how I personally feel about that. I don't really think it's a good idea for them to start that late in August, just because if that's like, then that's too little, too late, pretty much at that point.
Right. Speaking of preparation, I'm hearing things about teams wanting like tune-up games if and when the NBA comes back. Do you guys know anything about that?
Before I go into that, I want to talk about what Barry was just talking about as far as canceling the season or pushing back next season. This situation is so different than anything that we've ever seen, and I know like players are talking about should they end the season or should they not end the season? And even LeBron was talking about like not having closure. If they don't continue this season and he doesn't get a chance to compete for a championship for this season, how that's gonna be basically like mind-boggling to him. He won't even know how to feel about that. I don't know exactly what the right thing to do is. The right thing to do is probably to cancel the season, but I want to know how that's going to affect the teams that were doing well. The Lakers were doing well. The Clippers were doing well. The Celtics were doing well. Like, so many teams were doing well. And the Lakers was probably the favorite to win the championship. If the season doesn't come back, how is that going to affect them? Is Anthony Davis coming back next year to finish the season? Like, is he going to another team? Like, is that the Lakers' last chance to win a championship? Like, there's so many questions that goes into that. I guess we just live into it, and we'll just have to see what happens. But it's crazy. As far as teams needing tune-up games, I think it's only natural that they need tune-up games. Like, working out at home, running to the treadmill, with lifting weights is not simulating game-like situations. I think to simulate game-like situations, you need to be in the gym for at least 2 weeks to at least feel comfortable. I think those first couple of games are going to be so sloppy, particularly on offense. It's going to be, I mean, we're going to watch it because we're going to crave sports, but it's not going to be like great basketball those first couple of weeks.
Yeah, man. I agree with that. I mean, but if the NBA is saying, hey, you got to be prepared, ready to go, get your ass up and start running around the house, brother.
Exactly, straight up. Right. They get your butt to work, right? Like you're back in the gym, you know? Get back in the lab, you know?
You're not exactly getting a $500 check here.
That's like you're making millions.
My brother, listen, grab a treadmill, grab a bike, do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
Go to the high school facility, use that track, do something, because we got to get up and going. You know, in one breath, I think definitely LeBron is being kind of selfish because of the positioning of the Lakers right now. And what I hear that he's saying is that he's worried about his positioning right now in the West with how things have been going, with the injuries in the other teams, with the dysfunction on other teams, and how the Lakers have just been steamrolling everybody and things like that. And hey, he's number one out West right now. He's thinking, if I lose this season, who's to say we're going to be in this position next year? That's what I hear him saying. I don't hear him saying, hey, I'm worried about these guys' safety. He's saying, hey, I'm worried about another chip for LeBron.
Yeah.
I like LeBron, but if you read between the lines, that's exactly what he's saying, man. You know, he doesn't think he'll ever get over it because this is probably one of the best seasons he's ever had in his career, right?
Right, no, which is impressive to say that at year 17.
At year 17 and in the West. Break it out West, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, the West is much tougher than
exactly.
No, for sure. So it's definitely impressive what he's doing. And right, there's certainly no guarantee that he'll be in the same position, you know, come next year, not even this year at this moment. And right, this could be one of the last, legit chances that he has to, make a championship run, because as we know, he's not getting any younger and he only has so many years left in his career. So this is a golden opportunity for the Lakers to get one right now, because I think it's really up for grabs, but certainly the Lakers are probably one of the two, favorites with them and Milwaukee as far as like the teams that have the best chance to win the chip right now. I'd probably put the Clippers up there, too, but I think, definitely the Clippers are behind both the Lakers and the Bucks as far as teams that would have the best chance to win a chip this year. So, no, he definitely doesn't want to miss out on this opportunity because he's not going to get too many more in his career. So, yeah, he's probably like, yeah, I need this season to come back ASAP. I need to get this ring. I need to get number 4. So, yeah, I'm sure it'll be tough for him to not, finish the season if the NBA decides to cancel it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's exactly what I see myself. And I don't know if you guys know, there's a guy that's coming back next year by the name of Kevin Durant.
Yes, sir, KD.
Who's going to cause
tarantula
come next year. And then there's another team that's going to come back a year older than the Clippers next year, who's going to learn how to play with each other even more, right?
Right. And their two main guys will still be in their prime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the Houston can grab another piece in the off season, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then they'll have a big 3.
Yeah, and then last but not least, there's a couple of injured guys in Golden State. I can think about somebody wants to just make sure this year is theirs, because once they all come back together next year, it's about to be another problem. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, exactly. Can't forget about them either.
Not. So,
The two of the best shooters that have ever played the game. Absolutely.
they're coming back.
Well, I'm listening to all the teams you guys are talking about that are gonna get better next year. And one team, a couple of teams you guys didn't mention. One of the teams you guys didn't mention was the Celtics.
Celtics, I knew you were going to right.
We didn't forget the Celtics, bro.
The Celtics.
West.
We're just talking about what's
Talking about the West.
Right, but we're just talking about the West.
I did mention.
Oh, that's right. That's because KD.
That's because of KD.
Yeah. The Celtics are gonna be a lot better. Jason Tatum is gonna be a lot better.
Come back a year stronger.
Exactly.
KD will do better. Exactly. Kemba will be healthier. Exactly. So
and Gordon Hayward better figure out how to be more aggressive by next year.
That's true. He is better, or else he won't. His days in Boston will be numbered for sure.
But I don't want this to go on for too long. I wanted to ask before we move on to something else. Do you guys think they should resume the season, or they should cancel the season and move on to next year?
As a sports fan, please resume the season. Let's get it.
Okay.
Yes,
My answer.
Absolutely.
I want to see sports ASAP. If you guys gotta play it somewhere there's no fans, please do that.
Definitely.
Just bring something back, because I really do feel like sports holds up a lot of the mindsets of the society, like the mental side of it. Like, keep these freaking people sane, because they have nothing to do.
Right.
They have nothing to bet on. Please. That's my take on it.
Gotcha.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with John on that they should do everything in their power that the NBA can to bring the season back. Whatever they have to do to bring it back, whether it's with fans, without fans, whether you have to do it in a remote location or a couple remote locations, just do whatever you need to do to bring this season back and bring it back ASAP. Please. We are desperately, in the worst way, missing sports and missing basketball, and we need to see some sort of live sports going on, even if they have to play in another side of the country. Just bring it back in whatever way, shape, or form. Like, I don't care at this point. It just needs to come back in as simple as that. Just please bring back the basketball. I'm missing basketball in my life, and I need it back to so I can live that lifestyle the right way and enjoy watching my Celtics as well as the other teams. So they should do what they can to bring it back as long as it's safe for everyone to play the conditions and circumstances that they do decide to bring it back. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want sports back. That's true, but if the best interest of the population of the world is for people to get better and for this virus to be gone before that happens, I think as much as sports will keep me sane, I'm okay canceling the rest of the season just so that next season can start on time. Because if they don't cancel this season and the rest of the season starts in August, the next season is gonna start in like December, then it's gonna prolong next season. So if they cancel this season and just focus on next season, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, we'd have to be okay with that. So
yeah,
hopefully that's not the case.
Right,
But,
exactly.
actually, before we moved on, there's another thing I want to talk about. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Yeah.
Yes. How could we forget?
We talked about that, I think, in our first episode, actually.
Yes, we did touch on that.
And I think you guys were like, were you guys happy that, No, I think I was talking about Woj and how he reported that, they had a rift between and I thought that was actually not the Rona.
Nah.
Bro, don't tell me you're coming down with something, bro. Oh, no.
Nah.
The last thing we need.
I just calm down. I just sip on some water. Calm down.
Actually, Black got tested and came back negative. So shout out to
Woo,
Black.
thank God. Yes.
Thank you, Lord. We need that boy straight.
Absolutely.
I did. Last episode we did say I would give you guys the results, and they called me right after we record on Sunday, last Sunday actually. They called me right after that and they told me I tested negative. So
Oh wow.
Oh, great. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Congrats to you. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, things like that. Please.
Yes,
well, it doesn't mean I can't get it again. It just means I have to keep being careful.
For right now, you're good.
Yeah, right now.
But yeah, I think I thought that him reporting about that was very unproductive, and I have a whole new set of feelings about this situation.
How do you feel about it now?
Man, Donovan is childish, man. Yo, bro.
You say that.
Listen, man. You're getting paid millions, buddy. Okay? Like, I think we were talking about this. In the beginning stages of the coronavirus, nobody was taking it seriously, okay? We thought it was a hoax. We thought, man, it's all the way in China. It ain't going to come here. Oh, don't mess with me with that corona stuff. You know what I'm saying? We were all making fun of it. And I think that's where Rudy Gobert was at in that point in time. And then he caught the virus, and then playing around, he allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because we actually don't know who spread the virus, right? If you think about it, Donovan Mitchell tested asymptomatic, right?
Yeah.
He didn't give Rudy Gobert, who actually went through some symptoms, the virus. Who should say that?
Yeah, we don't know. That's true. That is definitely a possibility. It could have happened. We don't know who spread it. And
the only thing that we know was that Rudy Gobert was being an idiot and touching everything because he thought it was a hoax like everybody else. So
right.
It's. I think about it this way, right? It's kind of like going to work and catching a cold from a coworker.
I'm gonna say this. We don't know what happened behind the scene. I remember when this thing happened, when Rudy Gobert was touching all the mics at the press conference, and I felt bad for him because just like you said, not that I thought it was a hoax, but we just weren't taking the virus as seriously as we should have. And when he first started touching the mics, I was like, I feel bad for him because he didn't know better. But at the same time, we don't know exactly what was going on in the locker rooms. Maybe he started like coughing on Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan was like, "Yo, stop with this shit." And he kept doing it. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what happened, but with that said, I do think Mitchell should get over it. Like, he's healthy. Gobert is healthy. None of their families got affected by it. None of their families died. None of their families got it. I think they should move on for the betterment of their team and each other and just bury the hatchet.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that. Vlad, that's a good point and similar to my stance on it because I was hearing some things that Rudy Gobert was doing behind the scenes before it was announced that he tested positive for the coronavirus or COVID-19. He was touching players' belongings. He was being careless in the locker room. He was coughing and touching, guys and, pretty much being irresponsible and immature about it. So that's why not only Donovan Mitchell, but I was also hearing that the majority of the locker room felt some type of way about it and started to be in their feelings. But now that we look at it, with both guys, both now recovered from after being tested positive, they're in good health. Now they're safe, like you said, their families, safe, and the rest of their teammates, are safe as well. There's no reason for Donovan Mitchell to still be in his feelings and feel some type of way about it, well after the fact that it already happened and, no one ended up losing their lives or getting seriously, in critical condition and having to be in the ICU or if anything happened to their family. So I think you're right, pretty immature and childish for Donovan Mitchell to still have some sort of beef and, and not want to, have a, somewhat of a good professional relationship with Rudy Gobert, because it's definitely ridiculous that he's still continuing this well after, everyone has been cleared and tested for it and, self-quarantined for the 14 days. So I think he just needs to get over himself and get out of his feelings and move on and focus on preparing for the season when it does come back and doing what he needs to do to help the Utah Jazz win and to work with Rudy Gobert, because both of those guys aren't going to get traded and get moved. I've been hearing talk that Donovan Mitchell could get traded to move him since those guys aren't meshing well, but they're not moving either one of those guys. So they're just going to have to do their best to, work it out and be professionals and be grown men about it. So that's how I feel in about that situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna contradict myself a little bit, because it's at the end of the day, man, it's a kid's game. You guys are playing a kid's game, and you're upset over a guy acting childish, playing a kid's game. That's one. But then I contradict myself by saying, dude, grow up. It's kind of all right, bro, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, all right?
I don't want to play with you.
How old are we, man? I don't want to play with you anymore. You got the shit, bro. None of these guys have kids, man. You literally didn't get disturbed at all, other than staying at home for 2 weeks. That's all that happened, bro. You still got millions. You got a shoe deal that you really didn't do much for, I honestly think he's trying to get traded to a bigger market, but that's another
discussion for another show.
For another time.
Right, facts.
But
that's true. He's still getting his bread, and they're still paying all the players their full salaries this month on the 15th. So that's true. I don't know what he's complaining or what he's in his feelings about.
Right. The other thing, CJ McCollum said that players, about 150 players were living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm like, your paycheck's $80,000.
Exactly. You're making far much more than the average American is making. Exactly.
We're not worried about you guys, okay? If you still have to live paycheck to paycheck, then that's on you, bro.
Exactly. Right? Then you need to change how you're living. Exactly.
It's crazy, okay? I don't want to hear none of that complaint. But let's move on to some other crazy stuff that are happening. Let's do another league, actually. Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, TB12, the GOAT.
Players Tribune. You guys read up on it?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. Yeah, man. Tom Brady, he unloaded a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys have
really open up? Oh, yeah. No, he pretty much
He said everything.
Oliver really came out with a lot of stuff and then said a whole lot.
Yeah. Did you guys have a favorite part of the Players Tribune?
I mean, I read it, and I personally don't think he said much more than I already knew.
Yeah.
I feel as though Tom Brady, he's a very polished individual, and he knows exactly to give you almost nothing in the interviews, in whatever he's writing. Um, Although that is true, I did enjoy reading the piece just because I enjoy almost reading anything about Tom. And now that he's gone, I'm even appreciating him a lot more than I appreciated him when he was here. My favorite part of the article was when he started talking about going to Tampa, having to prove to himself that he can do something different, right? For 20 years, he did the same thing in New England, and he was amazing at it, superb at it. And he talked about going to Tampa as climbing a mountain and standing at the bottom of the mountain, looking up at the mountain, and thinking about climbing it and actually doing it. He said if he had not gone to Tampa Bay, it would have been looking at the mountain and not climbing it. So him going to Tampa Bay is him actually climbing that mountain and proving to himself that he can do it. And that part to me was really, it just shows you that Tom Brady just has this unbelievable drive to like get things done, things that people don't think he can do. He's like, no, I'm actually gonna prove to myself that I can do this. And the other part he talked about was being a mentor to the young players. He talked about that as well, and he said coming into the league, he had a lot of mentor, a lot of people that he looked up to, and now that he's in this position, he's looking forward to teaching those young guys and helping those young guys become better professionals. So those two things were my favorite part, and I look forward to seeing somebody climb that mountain, which is Tampa Bay, and hopefully, I'm actually hoping that Tampa Bay wins it all with Tampa Bay, because if he does, that will absolutely cement his legacy, which is already cemented, but it will put his legacy up on another level. And him going over there and mentoring young players and become better professionals, I want to see that, because Tom Brady had this thing about him where people thought he didn't want to play with young receivers and he didn't want to train young receivers. So I kind of want to see him go over there to Tampa Bay and train these young receivers and help them become better professionals. Tampa Bay is not a organization that had great success. They've won one Super Bowl with John Gruden, and that was great, but you don't really hear much about Tampa Bay having success. So if he goes over there, teach those guys how to be young professionals and help them win a championship, I think that'll be another huge accomplishment by Tom. So yeah, that's what I took from that article.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, for sure. No, it was a good, interesting piece that Tom Brady came out with, like a lot of parts about it. It was a little bit surprising as far as how much he actually did open up and how much he did say in that piece, but I could definitely now understand better why he decided to leave New England and not come back, and how he thought that he had pretty much done everything he could here and wanted to move on to a next challenge and the next chapter of his career and try to do something different and and do something that he hasn't done before. I definitely do like that part in which I've gladly seen now he looks at Tampa Bay as a mountain, and he looks at the top of the mountain being from the bottom and wants to see if he can climb it all the way to the top. I also, was a little kind of surprised that he said he knew that he was going to leave New England at the start of next season. I mean, at the beginning of the last season, on that. I thought that he had not really decided that he was going to leave the Pats until at least the end of the season or right before the start of free agency, when he had met with Kraft at his house and sat down with him and told him he wasn't coming back. I was thought that he, wouldn't have at least made, been leaning towards a decision that soon. But I could kind of see why, since the contract negotiations didn't really go well with the Pats, and I felt like Bill Belichick was not really interested in bringing him back, and he was ready to move on from Tom and wanted to, see what Jared Steele could do, and wasn't really excited about bringing a 43-year-old quarterback back, and thought that Tom was on the decline. So I think that part was a little bit surprising to me, but other than that, I really enjoyed reading the piece, and thought he did a good job about it, and I'm excited and looking forward to seeing what he can do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and how he's able to work with those young guys. Because now, guys, remember, he has to go to the OTAs and to the mini camps to and work with these guys in the off season, because over here the last couple of years he was taking that time off to spend with his family, then spend with his kids, and spend with Giselle. He wasn't at OTAs. He, wasn't really working with the younger receivers of, the Pats that we were bringing in. So now he has to be able to do those things, being on a new team, with, new receivers and, having to learn a new offense and a new playbook. So now I really want to see, is this guy going to be, willing and actually be able to work, with younger receivers and younger players, and actually train them and have him be the receivers that he wants them to be, and what he expects from them. So that's definitely something that will have my eye on, and pretty intrigued about seeing with this upcoming season for the Buccaneers, and looking forward to seeing how well the team does, and I think they are going to do well next year with the talent, as long as they perform the way they're capable of performing, and Tom can show that he can play at a high level, given the right pieces around him. So we'll see what happens in Tampa next year. So yeah, it will certainly be an interesting offseason and camp for him and that team before the season starts.
Yeah. For me, I really like the piece. I love every part of it. Just hearing from him, period, because he's not a guy that says a lot. So I appreciated that. I appreciated him being a little candid and open about everything. Just dropping a little, I read some stuff between the line. I listen to a lot of the sports radio around the city, and since last year they've been saying like, "Oh, he's gone," So I've kind of been prepared, for him to be gone, And for me, the most surprising part was he kind of knew that he was going to be done, before the season, like you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
and that definitely took me a little bit because it tells me like he was checked out mentally all year, and it kind of seemed that way sometimes on the field, and I'm like, all right, we're winning games, but we're not winning them like we usually win them.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
I remember telling a lot of people, they're watching, they see who wins the game, and to them that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to his credit, I think it's because of Tom Brady. We think that we know what good football looks like, right?
Yep.
We know when a team is doing something. We know when a team has that feel of like that playoffs, right? Like going into the playoffs last year, I didn't think we had any chance, right? I was
me either.
listen, we're backing up into this, and just because we're the Patriots don't mean we're gonna win anything, right? We've always gotten up and get it, no matter what's going on. We don't do the mishap stuff like Miami at the end there,
Right.
I understand that happened the year prior. We went to the Super Bowl and won it and stuff like that, but that's not usually the case. We usually go into the postseason strong, and we weren't doing that at all last year.
Sure.
There wasn't a game that the offense kept us in and kept us in, right? I felt like the defense kept us in the game and kind of helped us win the game every single game. All right, we won 12 games because the defense held up on its end.
Yep,
right?
for sure. Absolutely.
I think we averaged like 17 points a game, and we couldn't win if teams
like in the low 20s, 17.
That's pretty well. 17 for the defense. The other teams were averaging 17 points a game.
Right.
Defense,
Okay,
right?
that's what you're saying.
That means every time a team was scoring more than 17, we were in danger of losing the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was bad because 17 points is not a lot, right?
No, not at all.
Not for a Tom Brady team.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
To give up for what we're used to, for our defense to only give up 17 points, that's huge. Like in any other year, we win every single game.
Absolutely.
In any other year, right? And I felt like he definitely was checked out there a little bit. Still respected him. He didn't feel like he had to, especially after Antonio Brown went out. Because, man, after that one game, boy, I was like, yo, the league is in trouble.
Exactly.
After that one game with Antonio Brown, I said, yo, the league is in trouble.
Yeah.
Because with the Dak shoulder passes, first game end, bro.
Dak shoulder fade? My goodness.
My God. And the way he explained it, he was like snapping out of routes. I'm like, the league's in trouble. And then after he left, the look was different. The play was different. Mm-hmm. And I just said, man, he's checked out. And I think that was definitely, like I was saying, was my most surprising part of it. Because the radio was saying that he was gone after the year. And, they pointed out the way his contract was structured. They made a big deal about it to the point I got sick of it. But, in the back of my mind, I always knew, like, all of the stations are talking about this. They're not, they're not just talking about it for no reason, right?
Right, exactly.
So I definitely knew he was going to go, but I didn't know that he was already checked out before the season started, which is what that tells me. If you knew that, I probably knew it was my last season in the beginning of the season, like, and that means you were checked out during the season, right? Because it's your last time. If we lose, great. I mean, if we lose, who cares? It's my last time.
I'm not
if
coming
we
back
win,
anyway.
Great, because I'm not coming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The way he went out with the whole subliminal stuff, with the coming in the stadium, leaving the stadium, like, that boy gone. But shout out to him. He did that on the Players Tribune as well as went on Howard Stern, and he dropped even more bombs on us, right? You guys heard that? You guys?
So I'm gonna so it was actually on the Howard Stern show that he said he knew before last season that he was leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna disagree with you, John, because I don't think he was checked out. I think I think going into last season, he knew that was going to be his last season, meaning he wanted to climb that next mountain, right? And he met up with Belichick and he said, don't franchise me as a quarterback. I want to move on and do something else. I think Brady was frustrated all year because he knew that was his last season. He knew he wanted to give it all to New England before he left, but he didn't have the pieces around him to give it all. Like Antonio Brown came in, he left early. The wide receiver, Dorsett, he got injured a couple of times during the season. Julian Edelman was suspended for 4 games or whatever. Like, he just didn't have the pieces around him. The offensive line wasn't playing well. Sonny Michel was gaining 2 yards a carry. Like, nothing around him was what he. Nothing.
He was pretty trash last year.
Nothing around him was what he wanted it to be, to have a great last season in New England. I think to say that Tom Brady was checked out, I think is disrespectful to Tom Brady. I don't think he was checked out at all. I think he knew that was his last season, right? But we didn't know, but he knew that was his last season. And he wanted it to be not the best season because he already had the best season, but he wanted it to be a good season. He wanted to give it all. But coming into the season, he's like, oh, this is what I'm going to be working with. We can win with this. We might go into the playoff with this, but we're not going to win it all with this. I think if he had the pieces around him to win it all, I think it would have been a way different season. I think just like John was saying, we were winning games not the way we used to winning them. Tom Brady saw that too. He was like, this is how we're winning games. Oh yeah, we're not going anywhere with this. So what the hell is this for? Like, why am I working so hard for this season when I know we don't have the team to win this season? That's how I think he felt. So I want to give you guys a chance to talk about the Howard Stern interview, and then I can come back and give my point on it.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised about that. Brady, everybody that leaves New England, they have a new sense of self, I would say, or they have a new sense of freedom, right? Mm-hmm. Because they definitely come out and show themselves, right? I feel like he was on there. We heard Tom Brady swear probably for the first time in his career.
That's true.
On that interview, I've never heard that before. I've heard it and mic'd up plenty of times, but I've never heard it at like an interview or, he was recorded with somebody. I've never heard that before. So to me, it was just the fact that he was so open about everything. He said that he's tried marijuana back when he was in high school, which I thought was really huge for what the players, that want the cannabis in the league are doing. I think that's huge for them. At the same time, I hope kids didn't hear that because that's Tom Brady. And when they hear that, hey, I was smoking weed in high school. It's probably not a good thing. So for me, it was just the fact that he was so open was really refreshing. We can't really discuss everything that was discussed on the show, for copyright purposes, so we don't get ourselves in trouble. But I definitely really appreciate that he was open about everything, and it's nice to see a new side of this thing. He's speaking like he wants to speak now, right? And I think that's the part I really enjoy most about when our players move on to another team, when they can actually show some personality. Because sometimes I get frustrated.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes I get frustrated with the Patriots. It's like, bro, the other team's talking shit. Talk some shit back, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, tell them you're going to stick your foot up in, you know what I'm talking about? Every time they come out their mouth. I understand we do it on the field, but sometimes I wish somebody would hop on Twitter, like, eat up, the stuff that Antonio Brown was sending his girl, you know, a bag of, you know what I'm talking about. That's where I'm at with it. So I really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. No, I definitely agree with that. That it was nice to see different side of Tom Brady that we've never seen before, and he was more able to, like you said, have that freedom to be himself and to not really, you know, worry about, you know, or if I say this, you know, Bill's not gonna be happy with me, and he's gonna call me into, you know, his office or give me a call or whatever. So he was nice to actually see him be a lot more open and just actually be, you know, himself and and open up about different things and his, you know, life that, you know, transpired at different points in his life before his NFL career and then once he got into the NFL. So no, it was definitely nice to, you know, see that, and I feel like we're gonna see that, you know, a lot more, you know, with him and Tampa now, since he doesn't have to go by the so-called Patriot way, where you don't really say much to the media, because for 20 years we haven't really heard this guy do, you know, many interviews, and if he does do an interview, he pretty much is saying a bunch of nothing, or, you know, or a bunch of
vanilla.
You know, exactly, or it's kind of like cliche kind of stuff that we've like already know, and that's pretty obvious and straightforward. So he's not really able to elaborate on anything that you know, any topics that the, you know, media asked him about. So it was certainly nice to see him actually show some personality and you know, and be more, you know, honest about you know, his life and, you know, and his career that has happened to, you know, to this point. So, you know, yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about the so-called Patriot way, is that, you know, guys fear to, you know, be themselves, and you can't really say anything, you know, because everyone's scared of Bill, because they don't want to, you know, get in trouble, and they don't want to, you know, either get released or, you know, get, you know, their playing time cut, and, you know, and get benched for, you know, saying something that either gives, you know, the team bulletin board material or is in a response to what a team had said about them. So it was certainly, you know, entertaining interview. I enjoyed, you know, listening to the interview and what, you know, Tom had to say. And yeah, and I really liked it. So I'm glad that, you know, he did that interview with Howard Stern this week.
I'm gonna disagree with both of you guys actually, just because I listened to the whole 2-hour interview, and I don't think he was as open as you guys thought he was. I think he opened up a little bit about his personal life, you know, growing up with his dad. He opened up. What he opened up more about was his marriage. He talked about how him and Giselle went to counseling, to a marriage therapist, and Giselle wrote him a letter telling him how she felt about the relationship and how she needed him to contribute a lot more to the relationship, more as a husband and as a parent, and which is one of the reasons why a couple of years ago he stopped going to OTAs to take care of the kids and help around the house. I think that he opened up about. But as far as football goes, he really didn't say anything. Howard tried to get him to say bad things about Belichick. He didn't bite. Howard tried to get him to say who was his favorite receiver. He didn't bite. Howard also tried to get him to say he's better than Joe Montana. He didn't even bite on that either. I think Brady has polished himself to a level where he's just really polished when he's talking. So he doesn't have to say more than he needs. He just says just enough for you to like think he said something. Another part of the interview where Howard was like, "Hey, I heard Trump wanted you to marry Ivanka." I don't know if you guys heard about that. And yeah. Howard was like, "Hey, I heard Trump wanted you to marry Ivanka," and I'm sure Trump offered that to him, but Brady didn't even want to confess to that. Like he didn't even, he just kept going around the question. Like he wasn't really open. Like people were saying that he was open. It was a good interview. Believe me, I listened to the whole thing, and I love listening to Tom Brady talk. But I just don't think he gave enough information. I can't wait till he's done playing, and then maybe there's a book that comes out. Then I want him to like talk about some of the things that went behind the scenes that nobody knew about. Last thing before we move on. He did talk about that meeting that he had with Robert Kraft at Robert Kraft's house the day before he put that Instagram post on that Instagram post that he's leaving. And it was 9:30 p.m. He went to Robert Kraft's house and they talked about the last 20 years, how great it was. He said he was crying, Robert was crying. And then I think while he was there, he called Belichick and had a conversation with Belichick as well. And I think that part itself was good. Like, I was like, wow, that's, for them to sit down, have that conversation, for them to be crying, being so emotional, I bet you that was like something, if you were a fly on the wall, it'll be unbelievable to see. It was a good interview. I really enjoyed it. But I can't wait for later on in his career when he's talking about some of the things that went behind the scene. I think that's when Brady might open up more.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you said that he didn't open up too much about Bill Belichick and say anything bad and stuff like that. I don't think he ever will, because at the end of the day, like, they've had such a great relationship, such a beneficial relationship. Like, it makes no sense for you to come out and like bash a guy who you won, 6 championships with. That wouldn't make too much sense to me. So hopefully that's never a thing that happens where Bill Belichick is talking bad about Brady or vice versa.
Yeah. I do think they can give us a little bit more of the friction, that was going behind the scene.
I hated working with this dude. Like, he's a pain in that, like stuff like that. Like, we can all say that about our coworkers and stuff like that,
About our bosses, right?
Well, it's like, man, the guy puts you on the map, bro. You got picked by the guy, right? You played for him for 20 years. There's really nothing bad you can say other than, he's a strict coach. Like, you can't say nothing around him.
Right.
That's really all you can say when it comes to Bill Belichick,
Yeah.
Other things going around the NFL, and NFL executives concerned about IT technicians coming into their houses because of the COVID-19 scare, which, man, I agree with that for sure. Because unless all these guys have been tested and they're all negative, and they come in with their test so you can check that out, you're not coming in my house, man, because that's where you're most vulnerable. That's where your family is, and you spent all this time quarantining yourself, staying away from the public, and then boom, somebody brings it into your home. So that's my stance on that as far as the NFL executives, because after all, a lot of these guys are really old guys.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that topic up, it's because remember when Roger Goodell first mentioned that the draft was gonna go virtual, he was basically telling people to not say anything in public about it because he thought as though it wouldn't help the draft or whatever. And now that I'm reading more and more, there are a lot of concerns about the way the draft is going to be held, the fact that it was going to be virtual. So a couple of things people are worried about. They're worried about people coming into the house to install the cameras or whatever they need to install. The IT technician might be positive and we don't know. That's one. The other thing they're worried about people hacking into their Zoom. People have been hacking into Zoom calls. So they're worried about other team. They're worried about random people hacking into their Zoom, but they're also worried about other team hacking into their Zoom and listening to their Zoom calls. What if somebody was about to pick a player and somebody else picked them? So I think there's a lot that goes with having a virtual draft that people didn't talk about, that they're not ready for, that people are bringing concerns now. The draft is maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. Yeah. So I think they need to address those concerns now and fast because the draft is really pretty soon.
It's approaching for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry, you have any thoughts on that? I mean, I know you probably wouldn't want these guys coming in your room. Whatever. Like, bro, I got my phone. I'm gonna prop it up. Let's get this. 1080 HD, man. We good. Especially the older guys, man. My whole family's here. You can't come in. But hopefully they get all that stuff together. Did you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that I can see why these NFL teams and executives would be concerned about having a virtual draft and about the safety of it as far as for their own personal health and as well as teams possibly trying to hack and get inside information about the prospects that they're interested in drafting and have on the top of their draft board. I did also hear that they're gonna have safety guards to kind of prevent that from happening, so that teams can't tap into each other's calls and try to get any sort of competitive edge and competitive advantage and have their own privacy, because that it's been acknowledged since virtual, there's teams having intimate and private conversations amongst themselves about the different prospects that they want to draft and that they're really interested in in getting or trading and moving up to get if they are still available at that point of the draft. So those are the things that I thought were, that caught my eye and attention as I was, hearing about the NFL doing more of a virtual draft. But I think those things will certainly be addressed, and that they said they were going to do like a test run or something like that to make sure that things do go smoothly, so that they don't have any technical difficulties, or that teams have their privacy and their and being able to not get into each other's information. So I don't think that will be much of a issue as we get into the draft within a couple weeks. I just did want to ask you this, guys, just one question, kind of going back to what we're talking about as far as, I don't know, do you think Tom left on his own terms, or do you think Bill kind of forced him out and didn't want, Tom back, and was kind of set in stone that, okay, since Tom's probably done this year, that I'm not going to give him the help that he needs, and I'm going to kind of, push him out of here. I just kind of briefly wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, just to not drag it on too long. I mean, I'm not. I think Tom did what he wanted to do, and now that he's gone, we got really no choice but to watch him in Tampa Bay next year. You know.
Right. No,
I think Tom is 43 years old, and I think Bill is right in his sense, and Tom Brady's right in his sense. That's what I think about it. And I hope both of them the best of luck.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I think it's a little bit of both. I think Tom wanted to do something else, and I think Bill didn't want to get caught with his pants down either. So I think it's a little bit of both, and they just couldn't come and agree on the terms. So I think if Bill had given Tom a deal a couple years ago, he would have stayed. But since that didn't happen, Tom was like, "F this, I'm out."
Yeah, man. That's where I'm at with that.
No, for sure. No, I definitely can see where you guys are coming from, and for sure, no, those are valid points. So I think they did the best for both of them. I think, Tom did what was best for him in his career and to continue his football journey, and then Bill did what he always does, which is, do what's best for the team, not only now, but in the future moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. More NFL news, actually. Texans, man, the Texans, man.
Texans, Houston Texans.
That's a trifling team, boy. They often traded for Brandin Cooks. That guy, I guess he's worth a lot as far as like draft picks, but he's not worth to keep on the team, I guess. Because the Patriots,
doesn't he like get traded every year?
Yeah, for like a first round pick or a high second. I'm like, so this guy is worth a lot, but you guys don't want him on the team. Like, what is the issue with that? Is his contract just like that easily? Is that?
Exactly.
Is that what's going on? Because I don't see why you would keep trading him like that. But the Texans traded for Brandin Cooks for a couple draft picks, and I mean, they had to do something because they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins for no reason.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I like the move, but they didn't need to do this if they just kept the guy they had in the first place.
Facts.
Yeah, this is Brandin, fourth team in 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
He spent 2 years with the Rams. He spent 2 years with the Rams.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah. So he went.
He was with New Orleans, then Patriots, then with the Rams, and now with the Texans. It's like, all right.
I don't think he's a comparable receiver to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is.
No, that's not even close.
DeAndre Hopkins is 100 times better than Brandin Cooks. I think this is Bill O'Brien trying to save his job because he's an idiot. he's an idiot. I think it's a little bit of a panic move, to be honest. If that guy's been getting traded almost every year, why would you trade for him? Obviously, he's good, but he's not great. He's not great. He's gonna produce 70 catches a year or something, almost 1,000 yards, but he's never gonna be like your number one receiver and be great or anything like that. So I think that's Bill O'Brien just trying to save his job because he did a dumb move a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, man. I mean, good luck to him, but I think that move was definitely that shouldn't have happened at all.
No.
Right?
No,
that's where I'm at with that. Other news in the NFL.
Yeah, quickly, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cut you off. Just wanted to give my thoughts on the trade. Before we move on to other things. Yeah, it was kind of like I guess they needed another receiver since they traded DeAndre Hopkins, which we all know, everyone and their mother knows they shouldn't have done that. Brandin Cooks to me is a one-trick pony. He's just a guy that's a vertical threat and can go deep down the field and not and only be able to make plays when it's beyond 20 yards. Inside 20 yards, he's not really much of a threat running those short and intermediate routes, which is, I think, why it hasn't really worked out with him on a lot of teams, particularly with the Patriots from the 1 year he was here, from that I saw. And him not being able to stay on the field is another thing that is, an issue and why he is being traded and moved to multiple teams in a shorter period amount of time. Pretty much Bill O'Brien is kind of admitting that he messed up by making this trade and that he is, trying to fix a problem that he created, and did the best that he could, but I mean, the damage has already been done pretty much. So, and Brandin Cooks, okay, he's an all right receiver. He'll, give you some sort of production at the receiver position, and he'll do all right. But I mean, the offense he's not a game changer or an impact player or a difference maker that's gonna make your team a lot better, and that's going to take you, to the next level. So, yeah, the Houston Texans are going to be trash next year, and I feel bad for Deshaun Watson and think he needs to get out of there ASAP and demand a trade, because he shouldn't have to deal with what he's dealt with in the last couple of years that Bill O'Brien's put him through. So, Deshaun, I love you. You're great. You're going to be a really good quarterback in this league for a long time. But, bro, you need to get out of Houston ASAP, because Houston, you do have a problem. And Deshaun Watson doesn't need to be a part of that. So, yeah, please, Deshaun, get out of there as soon as you can, bro.
Right. And I think for the sake of time, the last thing I want to touch on, I guess Drew Brees is making moves for after his career. Tom Brady thinks he's going to play until he's 50, and Drew Brees is like, all right, I'm signing with NBC in 2 years.
I think about that. I think NBC actually wants him as a commentator. I think NBC wants to actually groom him to be the next Collinsworth. The same way Tony Romo, because before Tony Romo retired, they already had the job lined up for him. It's the same way NBC is having the job lined up for Drew Brees as soon as he retires.
Yeah, so basically we want to get rid of Chris Collinsworth. Drew Brees, you come on. Chris, you got 2 years. We've notified you.
Right. You already gave a heads up, bro. Exactly.
Be a commentator on First Take or something, because your time is over soon.
Shoot, I don't even think he can do that. Shoot, I don't even know if he's gonna find another commentating job anywhere after.
No, you know what they're gonna do. You see what they did to Phil Simms. Phil Simms is in the studio.
Yeah.
They're gonna put Chris Collinsworth in the studio.
I don't even want to see that.
Exactly. Right. You really wouldn't want to see that, and I don't even think that would work with him and Rodney Harrison and Tony Dungy and Mike Tirico. Like, that would.
They're gonna. I mean, he's been.
Those three guys that do the Sunday night pre-game show and halftime show, but he definitely wouldn't even be a good fit for that. I just don't want to see him, period, anywhere after he's done these with the next 2 years with NBC. Just have him completely done. Like, yeah, he doesn't deserve to be a commentator for NBC or for any other network that broadcasts NFL games. Point blank, period.
I don't think they're gonna fire him. I think they're gonna give him a different role. I don't know what that role is gonna be, but they're gonna give him a different role. But I do like Drew Brees.
I'm trying to think what role that's gonna be, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what NBC or any network that wants to hire him can, figure out. Because I don't know what he does well and excels in that you can put him in that will, still be able to help, the network be able to run a good broadcast. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how that goes.
I do like Drew Brees a lot, so I don't think he's gonna be the next Tony Romo. I think he's gonna be good because I think
That's what they're hoping for.
yeah, he speaks really well. So I look forward to seeing Drew Brees behind the mic.
Yeah, man.
No, for sure. I'm excited about that too. I think that was a great move. That NBC was able to, to do, and a great move for Drew Brees himself to have his post NFL career already set up. So he already has a job lined up as soon as he's done with his contract after the 2 years that he just signed with the Saints. So yeah, I'm excited and looking forward to seeing Drew Brees in the booth and for Chris Collinsworth to get out of here and get the boot in the pink slip and pass the torch to Drew Brees. So congrats, Drew Brees. Big shout outs to him on getting that gig, and looking forward to seeing how well he does with that gig, because that'll be a much better tandem with him and Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. So congrats, Drew Brees.
Yes, sir. For the sake of time, we got one more thing that's actually happening. MLB considering a new structure for 2020 season, like a grapefruit and cactus league.
Yeah. So basically, it's we are all affected by the coronavirus, and MLB trying to save their season by trying to create a new structure. And this is weird. Grapefruit and Cactus League? Are they serious? Is that really what they're gonna name it? This is
there's actually a grapefruit league.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, there's a grapefruit league and a cactus league. It's like a spring training. It's like
Oh, I see.
a seed league for baseball.
Oh, okay. I'm not a big baseball guy, so when I saw that, I was like, are they really serious? So basically, what they're gonna do is they're gonna be playing in Arizona and Florida. So the teams that usually have their spring training in Florida are gonna be located in Florida. The teams that usually have their spring training in Arizona are gonna be located in Arizona. And basically, what they're gonna do is they're gonna come in. They're gonna have like 3 weeks of spring training, or it's gonna be like summer training now, and then they're gonna go on with the season. And it's not gonna be 180 games or whatever the hell it is. It's gonna be less than that, and then it's gonna be the Grapefruit League versus the Cactus League in the World Series.
Hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
Up to them. Hopefully, any sport, man, just bring it on. Whatever they got to do, restructure. Go back to the old structure, whatever, man. Just bring it on.
Absolutely.
But actually, guys, that's it. That's all we got on our agenda for today. So for anybody that's trying to follow us, catch up on us, you can go to www.profansports.com. You'll catch all the episodes. If you want to follow us on social media, it's facebook.com/profans, twitter.com/profans, Instagram, profans_sports. You'll catch us, like us on Facebook, like us on everything. We also got merch coming out for you guys, so look out for that on our social media. But this was episode 4. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it, man. Thank you, fellas.